Welcome to the No Spin News, Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Stand up for your country. Well, it's all about Kamala Harris going on Fox News, right? So let's get right to it in the Talking Points memo. Whenever any journalist interviews a president or presidential candidate, there has to be a strategy. All right. Now, I've interviewed 6 presidents, countless folks who wanted to be president over my nearly 50-year career. I know I don't look that old, but I am. So let me break it down for you. And this is important to understand before we get into the specifics of what happened with the Kamala Harris-Bret Baier shootout. So it's like a prize fight. You get in a ring with 2 players, all right? Kamala Harris had a strategy. Bret Baier had a strategy. So we're going to go over which strategy was more effective. But the interviewer, Baier in this case, or me when I do it, has to be thinking about how the candidate or the president is going to answer. What are they going to do? And that prepares you for your reaction. You just can't go in going, it's really methodical. Again, it's like a prize fight. You have to know how to counter punch. Very, very important. Questions are easy. Both sides know what the questions are going to be. Very little surprise here because the race is so well developed at this point. Okay, so the vice president's strategy was obvious. She, I believe, in conjunction with her advisors, decided not to answer any of Bret Baier's questions. She's not going to answer them. He could ask them all day long. She's going to say whatever she wants to say. That was her strategy. And it's a good one, because that would force Bret Baier to interrupt her, which is what Kamala Harris wanted. She wanted Baier to lose his cool, to be rude. He wasn't. But he did interrupt. And that brought her around to say what she loves to say. Let me finish. I'm not finished. I'm speaking. Loves that. Because that shows that Kamala Harris is not intimidated by Bret Baier's questions, which she wasn't. She felt going in, she had this right under control. In fact, she was 15 minutes late for the interview, which threw Baier off his game a bit because you get tense. You know, what is this? They're going to show up? What's going on? And it cuts into the interview window. And that strategy, they were 15 minutes late on purpose. Let's shake them a little bit. All right, you with me so far? So before Kamala Harris even sat down, she knew what she was going to answer every question. All right, now, the interview ran about 28 minutes. Baier asked 10 questions in 28 minutes. The vice president spoke for 17 minutes and 30 seconds. She attacked Trump out of those 17:30 for 8 minutes, 30 seconds, nearly half the time of the interview. Harris attacked Trump, as she always does. Nothing new. Fascists going to send troops to get you. Constitution's going to be flying out the window. The usual stuff. You heard it a million times. Okay. But half the interview was that. And there wasn't any question about Trump. Baier didn't ask one question about Trump. Okay. But whatever Baier asked, it was Trump's a fascist. Okay. So it was very clear what the strategy was. Now, on his side, Baier knew he had to redirect. That's the journalistic cliche. I had to redirect after she wouldn't answer the question. Okay, he knew he had to do it because Fox News is 95% conservative Republican now. Wasn't that way when I was there, but it is now. And the viewers wanted Baier to hammer Kamala Harris. He didn't hammer her, but he did interrupt. And I'll show you in a minute. Okay. And again, Harris wanted that. to show she's strong. I am woman, hear me roar, to quote Helen Reddy. But what Baier did not prepare for was the disdain that Kamala Harris had for him and for Fox News, dripping with condescension and, I'm not going to use the word hatred too strong, but ooh, you could feel it. Should have been prepared for that. Baier should have been prepared for that. Now, how you deal with that, and there's only one person in the country who does this on television, and that's me. You narrate what's happening as it's happening. I said this in the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Trump should have narrated what was happening. So when Kamala Harris dodges a simple question, you, the interviewer, go, excuse me, Madam Vice President, with all due respect, you're not even coming close to answering my question. If you don't want to, that's fine. We'll go to another question. But I want to give you another chance. Would you like to answer the question I asked? That would have thrown Harris off her game. She would not have answered, no matter what he did. But it would have been polite. Baier had to do it polite, but it would have signaled to the audience, hey, we're getting jobbed here. She's not going to answer the questions, no matter what. That's called narrating the interview in real time. Now, I've done that for years, okay? I tell people when I was interviewing Donald Trump, I would go to Trump. So you're not gonna tell me what you're going to do in this situation. And he goes, that's right, I'm not telling you. That's how you do it. Because you can't force an interview subject to answer. Baier did not do that. And he should have. Okay. But that doesn't mean he did a bad interview. He didn't. He asked the right questions. Who won? I got asked that on the radio today, a lot of radio interviews. Nobody won. Nobody wins these things. Did Kamala Harris get one vote out of that? I don't think so. People are already divided up. They know. To me, I was insulted, and I'll get to that later. I was insulted. I'd like to presidential candidates, both of them, to answer direct questions. Don't you want that? I mean, if you don't, you're insulting me. I like, is Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. I like hiking in the woods. You know, if you're talking to another person, you ask them a question and they don't come close to answering it, you usually go, whoa, right? And you just get out of there. Okay, so let's get to facts. I love those facts to back up my analysis. And if you think I'm wrong, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town. Okay, so we are going now to show you exactly what questions Bret Baier asked. Put them up on the screen. For those on the radio, I'll read them. First, how many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the past 3.5 years? No answer. Looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration? No answer. Do you owe the families of Lake and Riley and other women who were killed an apology? No answer, no apology. You said repeatedly the border was secure when, in your mind, did it start becoming a crisis? Not even close to being answered. So, are you in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detain illegal aliens to transition to another gender? Or you want to pay for convicts to become girls when they're boys? That's the question. Didn't answer it, says she'll obey the law. Okay. Next question. Why do you think more people say they trust Trump on the economy than they trust you? No answer. Next question. So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently from the Biden administration? I'm going to play you that soundbite. It's eerie. Okay? Didn't answer. 8th question. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward. It's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. What are you turning the page from? Not even close. 9. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished? Now, that was an important question, and she got angry about that question. Wouldn't answer. And the final question, what do you say to critics? Look at the actions of your administration, say you're not acting like Iran is the number one threat. That was wishy-washy. I wouldn't have not gotten into that. That question really, it's hard to take that anywhere. So all of those questions were not answered. So let's, as Warner Wolf used to say, go to the videotape. I'm going to play you 2 evasions. I could play you 10, but I think 2 will make the point. Roll number 1.
So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
That's not what the question was. The question was, are you going to do anything differently? Now, Baier should have followed up, and I'm not being a Monday morning quarterback, but this is just obvious. He goes, well, okay, Madam Vice President, we know that you're going to bring a new point of view into the Oval Office, but let's just look at what happened in Afghanistan when you and your boss, Joe Biden, because you agreed with him, surrendered and 13 American military people were killed, and it was an embarrassment worldwide. Would you have done that again? That's what you got to do in those situations. Very, very simple, clear. You're going to repeat Afghanistan? Because I don't think she'd answer it. She'd go into, well, we were there 35 years, we had to get out, and Trump did this and Trump did that. I got it. I know what she's going to do. But as the interviewer, you've got to just tee it up so that there's, it's like, what are you doing? Our second one is about illegal immigration. Go.
How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but do you, just a number, do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So, Brett, blank you, I'm not answering your question. I'm not going to put a number on it because the number is embarrassing. It's about 15 million, and I'm not going to say that because I'm going to say that we need to repair it, but it's not our fault. It's Congress's fault and Trump's fault. It's like, okay, when does the Twilight Zone stop? Let me give you one more because this one offended me greatly. Go.
When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
Well, if he has the judgment and the experience to make very important decisions, what the deuce are you doing there, lady? Okay, he obviously doesn't have it. His own party booted him. But the essence of the question is very, very important because Kamala Harris, and Baier pointed this out, said he was fine and she was dining with him on a consistent basis. No problem with Joe. Even after the debate. No, he's fine. Were you lying to us, Madam Vice President? Of course she was lying. There's no other explanation. If George Clooney knew it, you're telling me Kamala Harris didn't know it? But again, the strategy was she can ask you, Kamala, if the moon is full and you say, I like to go swimming. It's not. My policy, it's just insane. Baier kept his cool. I would have been a little testier, but that's me. But I would not have been disrespectful because that leads nowhere. But Baier, he's frustrated. Roll it.
Madam Vice President.
You and I both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
I actually don't. What are you talking about? Look, I knew what she was talking about. It was clear to me from the jump that she was just going to say bad things about Trump and say the word my policy What policy? $25,000 to every American first-time homebuyer? It's not a policy. That's a fantasy. That'll never happen in a million years. It can't happen. It's unconstitutional. Nobody can fund it. It couldn't possibly happen. My policy. It's not a policy. You can't do it. That'd be like me running for president saying, I'm going to cure everybody of diabetes. If you elect me, I'm coming to your house if you have diabetes, and I'm going to cure you. That's my policy. That's how insane this whole thing is. And I'm not exaggerating. This is absolutely true. It's so true that it's harrowing. Once again, Kamala Harris is the most far-left candidate ever to run for president and feels no responsibility at all to define anything. Okay, let's go to narcissism. I cannot say that Donald Trump or Kamala Harris are narcissists. I can't. That's irresponsible of me. I wrote in the United States of Trump, my book on him, which is a very fair book, that he doesn't admit mistakes. And his own son, and I quoted him, Don Jr., said, look, he sees that as weakness. Even if he makes a mistake, he knows he made a mistake, but he's not going to admit it because that does not help him. All right. Kamala Harris is exactly the same thing. Biden administration made no mistakes. She's had opportunity after opportunity to say, you know, maybe we should have done Afghanistan a little bit differently. Maybe we should have done inflation a little bit differently and not hammered the fuel companies and the oil companies so that prices rose. Maybe we should have done it a little bit differently, right? No, never. Never admits a mistake. Everything was fine. Even though the approval rating for Biden when he dropped out of the race is 38%. But they didn't make any mistakes. You know people like this. I know people like this. It's called narcissism. Many of our presidents have been narcissists. If you read Confronting the Presidents, you'll see it. So anyway, the situation last night to the voter, you, me, was kind of insulting. Why bother going into that? If you have so much disdain for Fox News, why bother? You know, I mean, we got nothing out of it, learned nothing as far as your policy is concerned. We did learn that you're not going to answer any questions and that you don't think the Biden administration did anything at all wrong. That's what we learned. Now, if you're going to vote for that, you're going to vote for that. All right, let's sum up. So Baier should have anticipated he was going to get stonewalled. He should have narrated in real time. Not a criticism of Baier. Nobody else does it in the country but me. All right? So I stand alone in that. Kamala Harris, her strategy, I said this before, she's a disciplined woman. She carried out that strategy. They all got together, the advisors and her, and said, this is what we're going to do. Attack, 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 attack. No answers. Carried it out. And who lost? The United States of America. That's the memo. As students head back to the classroom, many families are reevaluating where their children really are in the education field. Parents and students alike are questioning whether their current educational environment truly supports their values. If this resonates with you, the Herzog Foundation is here to help. Discover a wealth of resources for transitioning from public schools to Christian or even homeschool. The Herzog Foundation is your go-to guide for finding the right fit for your child's educational journey. The Lion, the Herzog Foundation's award-winning online publication, is a beacon of truth. In a complex educational landscape, it keeps you informed with timely and reliable updates on education, parenting, and understanding what's happening in public schools today. Equip your family with knowledge and support with daily and weekly newsletters by signing up at readlion.com/bill. All right, let's go to, I just cut a YouTube channel extravaganza for you. Our channel is youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly. It's easy. youtube.com/Bill O'Reilly. Free. No coin involved. Free. Now, I'm talking about Kamala Harris insulting every American voter. And I'll tell you exactly how she is doing that, apart from my analysis tonight. This is all new stuff on YouTube. I hope we sign up on the YouTube channel. Go to the mail. Keith Bryan, Sanford, North Carolina. Thought Baier did a very good job of trying to stay on target and being respectful to Vice President Harris. She didn't answer many questions. She looked unfit to be president. I think that's a prevailing wisdom. If there was a poll, a snap poll of people who watched it, I think that's accurate. Paul Massardi, Tampa, Florida. I'm disappointed with the performance of Bret Baier. His tactic was too confrontational, too much focus on past issues. The way to expose Kamala Harris is to ask how she will correct the problems, not condemn her. She doesn't acknowledge any problems. How are you going to confront her? She says there aren't any problems. Everything was fine. Come on, you can't blame Baier for jumping in a little aggressively when it's like, okay, you have a flat tire, Paul. And then you take it in to the garage mechanic and he looks at you and goes, tire's not flat. I can't fix it. But wait, it's flat, look. Nah, it's not. You get a little testy. Randy White, Yulee, Florida. According to Bret Baier, Harris showed up 15 minutes late for the interview, obviously to reduce her time in the talk. She is blatantly evasive and filibusters her out. Yeah, I don't know if she wanted to cut down the time. I think he got his 28 minutes, but she did want to rattle him, no doubt about it. Let's go to the message boards. Yvonne, Bret Baier was very polite. Kamala was obnoxious. Kept on talking and saying nothing but blaming Trump. Yeah, that's a strategy. Trump's the devil. It worked 4 years ago. Just remember that. It worked. Carol, Bret Baier's questions were too long-winded. Yeah, I would have cut them down. I think you have a point. But remember, in a heat of the moment, Iona, message board concierge member, as was Carol. Thank you, Iona. We are on Iona's team. Anything happens to Iona, we're going to help her. Concierge membership, BillO'Reilly.com. All Harris did was blame Trump for everything. Yeah. Again, we know that's it. Here's an interesting letter from Kelly Klein, Twin Falls, Idaho. I'm a premium member. I was wondering, I have friends that are asking if they should even show up to vote because my state will pick Trump. They feel like they don't have a say in the national discourse. Well, you're right. Most of the states are spoken for. But as a patriot who loves your country, this is your obligation to vote. And there are down tickets too. So you got to show up. John Bumbarger, Holtsdale, Pennsylvania. What worries me is all these former officials of Trump who say he is a threat. Well, Trump is a polarizing guy, and he can get kind of mean. And if people are fired, they don't like who fires them. I don't think there's any more to it. Trump is elected, he's going to get good people back. Kudlow will go back, you know, the economics guy, and Secretary of State will go back. His name from Kansas. So he'll get people who know what they're doing, and it'll work for him. There's no doubt about it. I think Ramaswamy will be a Homeland Security chief. That's what he wants. Pompeo, Secretary of State. Matthew Evans, Guam. Never been to Guam. On my list. Never been. Hey, Bill. I have 10 out of the 13 Killing books. Very good, Matthew. They're by far my favorite books. I can't wait to get Confronting the Presidents. Even my 11-year-old son has asked me to get it. Very bright boy out there, has to be. You know, we ship to Guam, we ship everywhere in the world. But it takes a little longer to get there, but you'll get it. All right, let's go to the store. We got Confronting the Presidents. It's still a very hot book all over the country. And if you become a premium or concierge member, remember on November 4th, we're going to have another election live Q&A for premium and concierge members. And you get the book free if you sign up for membership. So that's the greatest deal ever. And gifts and all of that, you know the deal. Political memorabilia, we want you to weigh in with the mugs. Team Normal, not woke, no socialism. I got my Team Normal right here. I kind of really like this one. You could buy this just by itself. But Team Normal, you know, that was Governor Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas coined that phrase. That really stands to me. I think traditional Americans are on Team Normal. So, great book. And of course, this is our best seller ever, Not Woke. And we're going to have shirts for Christmas, Not Woke. We do it with a sense of humor, you know. You got to do that. Word of the day, don't be sniffish, S-N-I-F-F-I-S-H. Sniffish. No, you don't want to do that. Write to me, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town. Quick break and a final thought about people who will not see reality. By now, you have heard me talk about Delta Rescue. They are a fantastic organization that helps rescue animals from the wilderness. You know, I'm a dog lover, so is Leo Grillo, the founder of Delta Rescue. It is his life's mission to provide everlasting care for these once abandoned animals. I myself have donated to Delta Rescue. Do you believe it is part of man's duty to care for dogs and horses, the animals that so much of our history is tied to? If so, please consider making a donation or consult your advisor about leaving a gift in your will or trust. There can be some tax advantages, and it's a great way to help Delta Rescue accomplish their mission. So please visit deltarescue.org to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. MyPillow has been canceled by another box store. That's too bad. But they're sharing an incredible offer for my listeners. Now for a limited time, you can get the standard size MyPillow for just $14.98. Usually retails for $49.98. MyPillow is made with patented adjustable fill. It adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. So it holds its shape all night long to give your neck maximum comfort, get it aligned, and give you the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. There are deals on 4-piece kitchen or bath towel sets. Only $25 per set. New mattress toppers as low as $69.98. Famous MyPillow bed sheets, love them, as low as $25, and much more. Please go to mypillow.com or call 1-800-869-0298. Use promo code BILL to get huge discounts on all MyPillow products, including the standard size MyPillow, now only $14.98. Don't delay, order today. Okay, here's the final thought of the day. My mantra, people believe what they want to believe, and it's never going to change, and there's nothing I can do about it. But it is annoying. So I canvassed a few people today who are going to vote for Kamala Harris about her performance on Fox News last night. And none of them said, ooh, she was great, because she wasn't. And they know they're talking to me. But they said it's not that big a deal. What she stands for is better than what Trump stands for. And, you know, I can't argue with that. If you're an American citizen, you have a right to vote for whoever you want. And it's not my right to tell you you're a dunderhead. I can tell you, and I tell them, my friends, you want San Francisco? You want what's happening there? You vote for Harris. And it's worse, it's going to be worse on a national basis because she'll try to impose socialism, the government running everything out of Washington. Where San Francisco is a mess, top to bottom, a mess. people who bought expensive properties there, their properties are down 50% because the city's so out of control. It's violent, filthy, public safety gone, disorder everywhere. Is that what you want? Do you really want that for you and your family? That's what Harris represents. That's what she's going to bring in. Test her. She's a child of that. That's where she came from. And she hasn't changed or repudiated any of it ever. Remember, the Biden administration did everything right, according to her. So when you get to that point where people believe what they want to believe, and you present yourself the way I do, and they still, San Francisco is a long way from Long Island. Long Island can be San Francisco like that in a heartbeat. The only thing protecting Long Island now from New York City, which is a mess, is that we have traditional governance in both Nassau and Suffolk County. We have it here. It's a bulwark against the progressive chaos in New York. And people don't know that. But we don't have social disorder where I live. But 20 miles away, it's insane. And it's just a governance. So anyway, that's the final thought of the day. You're not going to blow some people out of their belief system, no matter how much evidence you present. And we just have to accept it. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. I'm going to have an interesting column dropping Sunday. All right. And I'm going up to Vermont tomorrow. My annual Vermont trip to terrorize Ben and Jerry and Bernie Sanders. Yeah, deal with the hippies up there. It's a lot of laughs. And it's a beautiful time of year to go to New England. So I will see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.